recording.
Yeah. We always gotta find something funny to start the episode out with. So, everyone, Tamara has some great news. Wait, I'm Rell.
I'm Tamara.
And this is Fearful Friends Podcast on a Wednesday. And I'm switching it up by taking control of the intro.
Oh, good.
And Tamara has some good news.
32 days as of this recording until the time changes back.
Oh, I did not know. Wow, you really got me. Oh no. That's
the good
bad.
one. No, the good one.
Because it's spring forward, so I'm going to lose an hour of sleep. It doesn't affect you because you don't have to go to work. Which was the good news, is that she's on maternity leave right now. Bitch. Must be nice.
It is. No, for me, I'm just a better human when it's later in the day. Because when it gets dark early, I spiral.
I just feel like it's going to get like hot. It's going to be a lot hotter, right? Because there's more daylight. Is that mathing? Does that make sense?
I've never thought of that, but I mean,
it's already hot.
It's
and I
gonna
know
be spring, so
I wasn't going to talk about it on the show today, but it's fucking hot again.
But listen, we could have a beach day.
Oh my God. All right, fine. Do you want to do it before or after you have a baby?
Definitely before, because all I want to do is float in salt water.
Okay. You could put that in your birth plan. Just have like,
yeah, on the C-section table, just be like,
bitches having babies in bathtubs all the time. Just switch out the water with some salt water. I've got a canister of salt. Just fill up a bathtub and pour some sea salt in there.
Okay.
I'm just the only one out here coming up with ideas. Yeah, we can have a beach day.
Good.
I hate the sun and the sand. So, do you think we could go back to our old beach?
It's gonna have to be, because I don't think I could handle walking from the big beach.
That sounds fucking awful.
It's a far walk.
So we would have to do like what we used to do, get there super duper early before the jock straps get there and take over the beaches. Mm-hmm. And then we have to make it like as unwelcoming as possible. I'm talking goats' heads on stakes. We gotta really like scare people away. This is our spot. Remember that one time we were just chilling at the beach one day? We like set up our chairs, we had our cooler, we had our towels laid out, and like these beaches are like little personal beaches. They're meant for like, you know, a small family and stuff. And some bitches just like came over and like set up right next to us and brought their canoes and shit. Get out of here. This is our spot.
I know.
The privacy.
Rell did go through their stuff and steal $29.
I did not. I was like, I know I used to drink a lot back then, but I did not. Not that much of a devil.
Yeah. So I got put on medical leave.
Medical leave. She said, if that girl gets to go on medical leave for fucking having a panic attack, then I'm going on medical leave for having contractions every single day of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is valid. Is that girl still on medical leave?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yep.
So did you find out what they're doing about you?
Who? My work?
Your work, yeah. Since you weren't really planning for this to happen so soon.
No, but also, like, I told it back in August.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
even July. I don't really care. So.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, I feel very bad for my coworkers because there's only 2 of them now, and they're kind of...
And one of them's leaving.
Newish.
Oh, are we not counting Judy?
Oh, she's already gone.
Oh, that week is already gone?
Yeah.
Oh, the week she leaves.
Oh, we actually left on the same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
You couldn't even have like one day of work without her.
I know.
But at least you have something to look forward to now.
Yep.
Do you have like, are you friendly with your coworkers? Will they keep you apprised of any fun drama?
Yeah. I mean, there's only 2 of them, so...
Yeah, but they're going to be like, Tamara, you will not guess what happened today. Or maybe they'll text you and be like, Tamara, the lady that they hired to temporarily replace you is awful.
No, it's going to be more like, Tamara, everybody is asking for you. It's really annoying. And now they're all going over to
Please come back.
the other branch.
Tamara, our branch is closing because everyone went over to the other branch too much.
Tamara, our branch is closing because you went on maternity leave.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Yeah.
For the good of the future. Babies.
Yeah. But I feel so much better.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
I don't feel
pressure.
Great because it just... No,
I'm sure it still sucks. But it's like you were telling me the other day, like just having a couple extra days off. Like, you know, because you get 2 days off a week, but you have shit to catch up on. There's just no time to fucking do anything. Yeah. I don't even have kids. And 2 days off is not enough for me. Yeah. Like, to both get shit done around the house and have a social life and try to, like, relax my body so that I'm ready for the work week. And I don't even fucking have kids. And I'm not pregnant. Yeah. So, kudos to you.
I am so happy, honestly.
I'm happy for you. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. It needed to be done. I texted my mom yesterday and I was like, this is paradise. How am I going to go back to work in July?
You're going to have a baby and you're not going to want to be around that baby very much.
That might be true.
That's me, at least.
I'd
be like, oh, get it away.
I remember going back to work after I had M and like...
You were pretty miserable at work, not going to lie.
But it helped my postpartum depression a lot because...
You got back in a routine, got out of your head.
And it was like more like back to like me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like my postpartum depression was like because I had like lost myself, you know? And like your whole world like...
Oh, you're just a feeding machine for a tiny little baby that doesn't give a shit about you.
Like your whole life has like changed, and going back to work was like, you know, me.
I am a human. Yeah. I am an autonomous being that has choices.
Yeah. So, but I don't know.
And no one will touch my tits here.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Are you going to breastfeed this time around?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I was just curious.
Formula is just so freaking expensive. I'll probably do both, but
you did have a really I feel like you had a good time around last time.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it until
I didn't like heating up those bags of titty milk.
I wasn't making you drink them.
No, but I would always have to put them in a bottle. It was weird.
You know, regular milk is also titty milk.
I also don't drink regular milk. Oh my God, that scared me. Sorry, I have a campfire on YouTube out in the living room, and we went to commercial because God forbid YouTube go 1 minute without commercials. Really scared me.
There's just men talking in your living room.
I know. Very loud.
Don't allow that.
Very loud. I'm only used to that at work.
I was listening to the podcast Ladies and Tangents on my way over, and I have to share this because I was cracking up. They were talking about a TikTok that they saw of this girl who was at a roadhouse, a Texas roadhouse, and she got paid $20,000. I don't even know if I can say this.
Why not? It's our podcast.
A butter churner.
I'm scared.
Pole.
I'm scared.
And inserted up her ass with the honey butter from the rolls. She got paid $20,000
while she was at work.
She didn't work there. She was just like there. She got paid $20,000. Okay. To do that in the bathroom at Texas Roadhouse.
Did she have to take a picture for proof?
I'm sure she was on video the whole time. Okay. So
I would do it.
A whole bunch of right? A whole bunch of like the managers heard about it, and then they were like, hey, after hours, we got a lot of butter here. And then they paid her $40,000 to do it.
Where are they getting this money?
I don't know.
like, it's not like it's a super duper successful restaurant. I feel like all of them are on the brink of closing.
I'm sorry. Have you ever had
Texas
their
Roadhouse?
honey?
Yeah, the one up by me
rolls?
closed.
Oh, we just got a new one where I live.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, good for you. And I probably have had their honey rolls, but I don't remember it because they were so unremarkable. Is that the place where they spit fucking peanut shells and shit all over the floor?
They drop them. I hope I don't spit them.
It's disgusting. It attracts rats. Sorry.
I will take no Texas Roadhouse slander in this house, Ariel.
I make better pulled pork. I'm going to say it.
I don't even know what I eat. Last time I was there, I got a Caesar salad.
Really? Wow.
I know.
Seems like that's something you could have made at home and not paid $16 for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my story.
It was a good story. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Probably do it for $1,000.
I'd do it for $500. Yeah. Now the first time some weird shit's been stuck on my butt. Oh, just kidding.
Anyway, if anyone wants to make $40,000.
You mean if anybody wants to pay you $40,000?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet we could make a good business of it on like OnlyFans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I bet everyone's doing it now, though. If it's on TikTok, everyone's doing it.
Yep.
It's like fucking, all the TikTok, like, grocery store fads. It's getting a little out of hand, guys.
Like what?
Like, last year, when I was still working in the dairy department, the big thing was this coconut cult yogurt. I don't even have a TikTok, but, like, the way that people were fucking coming in trying to buy it, it was just like, y'all are insane. It's $16 for a jar this big, but there's 8 servings in the jar because one serving is like 1 teaspoon.
Why?
Because it's like uber packed with probiotics and shit. But like it was famous on TikTok, so like we couldn't keep it in stock for a while. And then there was the fad with now there's a new fad with like chia seeds and kefir. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's dumb. And then in the vitamin department, I have to hear the assistant vitamin manager complain every single day because everybody keeps asking her for like parasite cleanse stuff. And she's just like, she asks all of them, what makes you think you have parasites? Is your butt itchy? And they're like, no, but I was watching a TikTok and everyone has parasites. Did you know that? And then she just like, yeah, but not all parasites are bad. Like, you know, everything in your probiotics and you drink your fancy kombucha, those are technically parasites and they're good for you. You don't need to kill all the parasites just because some fucking blonde bimbo on TikTok told you to. Like, so every single customer that comes up to her, she's like, is your butt itchy? Is your butt itchy? Is your butt itchy? She said it's like 4 times a day at this point.
Yeah, you can just go to Walgreens and get some
it's just fucking dumb.
Banana
It's just real dumb. That, and then there's the new big thing is sea moss gel. People are just going crazy over it. It's $35 a jar. And it's just fucking goo. And like it just serves no fucking no purpose. It really doesn't. It's just a fad. Everybody calm down.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I don't even remember how we got on this subject.
No idea. But
I blacked out.
It's Rell's turn to tell a story.
Yeah. I've been letting Tamara do all the heavy lifting because I just can't mentally bring myself to do a story. Are you ready for it?
I am
I'm
ready
real
for
sweaty.
It. Can we take a break so I can eat some chips?
Yeah. How long? Can I just pause this?
About 20 minutes.
She's going to take a chip break. I'm going to chug my beer. And we're back.
Okay.
Tamara had a lovely snack.
Mm-hmm.
We caught up. I'm sweating a lot.
Why are you sweating?
I just get really hot in here. Also, I'm talking and wearing pajama pants and a very large t-shirt.
Okay.
And I'm sitting on 16 pillows.
Okay.
Our table is literally a giant thick blanket. Every surface around me is 1,000,000 degrees. I'm so sweaty. All right.
I'm ready for a story.
I guess I should have pulled it up while we were on break.
Yeah, you know.
I'm fucking trash. All right. Are you ready? I know you're ready. You just said you're ready. I'm going to be telling you today about one of the most infamous cases in Finland's history. The murders of 3 teenage campers alongside the shores of Lake Bodom. Or Bodom.
Okay.
Or Bodom. I don't know.
It's bottom.
Finnish. Also, I'm just going to say this right off the top. I'm going to do my best with pronunciations. Obviously, I am not Finnish. So y'all are going to have to be nice and give me a pass if I fuck some shit up. I made sure to write that in here because I was like, it's going to be a lot of spelling it out while I talk.
Okay.
Also, this is a European country, so everything is in kilometers. So deal with that and just know going forward that I already looked it up for you. And 1 kilometer is a little over half a mile. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
So, located about 20 kilometers outside of Helsinki, the capital of Finland, is a small town named Espoo, which is cute. And there's a lot of really cute names in Finland. And if you drive about 12 minutes north of that town, you'll find Lake Bodom. If you look up pictures of this area, it's not hard to see why so many people would venture out to these parts just to get away from it all and be one with nature. It's tranquil and peaceful and the perfect place to unplug, pitch a tent, and vibe out with some mushrooms.
Okay.
And hell yeah, dude.
I'm not Googling your case.
If you look up Lake Bodom, you will spoil things. Full disclosure.
I don't even know how to spell that. Finland.
Just gonna look up pictures of Finland. You know what? That's fine. I will, towards the end of this, I will have you Google some, like a specific search so that you can look up some photos because it is really fascinating.
All right. I'm ready.
So in the 1960s, the shores of this picturesque lake were ideal for camping, swimming, hiking. It sounds fucking rad. And all the young locals would get out and crack open a few beers with friends. On June 4th of 1960, that's exactly what 4 teens set out to do. So we have 2 15-year-old girls, Anja Tuulikki Maki, Mila Irmeli Bjorklund, and their boyfriends, 18-year-olds Seppo Antero Boisman and Nils Wilhelm Gustafsson.
Okay. So we have Anja.
Yes. I did put, I will be referring to them by first name only going forward.
Anja, so Maya.
Anja and Mila are the 2 15-year-old girls. They're the girlfriends, and then their boyfriends are Seppo and Nils.
Okay.
Mila and Nils were a couple, and Anja and Seppo were a couple.
Okay.
So the 2 couples traveled out to the shore and set up camp. They had drinks and swam and hung out like any of us would do. And around 10:30 that night, both couples returned to the tent and headed to bed. Around 6 a.m. the next morning, a group of boys doing some early morning bird watching noticed a tent collapsed in the area. And they would later report to authorities that they had also seen a suspicious blonde man casually walking away from the campsite. At the time, they thought nothing of it. They just thought, oh, well, maybe he just knocked the tent over. I don't know. And they just carried on looking for fucking birds. Because why the fuck not?
I saw like a whole bunch of green parrots yesterday just out in the wild. It was so
Parrots?
cool. Parrots, yeah.
Aren't those like typically people's pets? We don't have wild parrots in
do.
Florida. Mm-hmm. We do? I thought that was just some Margaritaville shit.
I love birds, sorry.
I know you do. I do not. Matt thinks it's an irrational fear. I tell him birds can hurt you.
Oh,
and they want to.
I thought you were going with like a government conspiracy. Birds are not real.
No, I'm not that far gone yet. Yet. Although I do believe at some point in time we are going to have to bring back messenger pigeons if the social media crisis keeps happening. So how else will I reach out to you without Elon Musk knowing my every thought? So By 11 a.m. the next morning, a carpenter, I don't know why he was out there. It did not say. Maybe he was just on a walk. He stumbled upon the tattered remains of that collapsed tent. The cloth of the tent had been ripped through completely and soaked with blood. And when he got closer, he could clearly make out the bodies of 4 teens. And he immediately called the police, who arrived on scene around noon because it was out in the woods.
So how long after was this?
So he found them at 11 the morning after the camp out.
Okay.
And then authorities arrived on scene at noon.
Okay.
The police, unfortunately, started out rough with their investigation. I don't know if it's maybe because they didn't get this many issues in that area, or maybe they're just, I don't know, unexperienced or just didn't care. But they neglected to tape off the crime scene, and they didn't really record much of the evidence that they found. And they let random-ass people just trample right through the murder scene. They also made note of several items that had gone missing from the site, probably be taken by looky-loos who just wanted a souvenir to take with them. So, you know, once they find out that shit was missing, they hired military soldiers to come look for those items, but then they ended up further trashing the scene and, you know, just stomping all over everything, and none of those items were found. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. That being said, here's what they did manage to record from the scene. Anya and her boyfriend, Seppo, their bodies were found inside the tent, like, you know, under the collapsed roof. And Mila and her boyfriend, Nils, were outside the tent, on top of the tent. Mila was found naked from the waist down, and her wounds were the worst of all of them. She was clearly stabbed several times after she was already dead. As for Nils, turns out he was not dead. He was just barely clinging on to consciousness, and he was rushed off for treatment while the quote-unquote investigation continued. We'll get back to Nils in a little bit. So, by all appearances, it seemed like the teens were attacked just blindly from the outside of the tent, just fucking crazy slashing, and which is why the tent was basically left in shreds. The assailant had used a knife to slash and stab at the teens, but their bodies had also showed evidence that a blunt object had been used to violently bludgeon them, which, you know, I mean, could have been a rock, it could have been a pipe, a bat, you know, they don't know. This object, along with the knife, has never been found or identified. The keys,
Jeez.
yeah, like, where do you, I mean, I know there's a lake there, but like, divers, nobody found anything. The keys to the teenagers' motorcycles were gone. Each of the boys had a motorcycle. That's how they all got there. But the vehicles were still there. So that wasn't the motive for the murder. There was a little bit of money missing from the tent and some other random things. But that could have just been like shit that was taken by looky-loos. Nils' shoes were also missing from the tent, but those would later be found about a half a mile away from the tent, along with some articles of his clothing. Which is, like, weird, but also, like, maybe he found a different place to, like, swim and, like, just didn't go back further. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. So, speaking of Nils, after, you know, giving him a look over in the hospital, his injuries were extensive. But, again, he survived. He had several slashes all over his body. He sustained a concussion, a fractured jaw, along with facial bones, and he had a gash in his cheek so deep that his teeth were visible through it. Yeah. Ugh. He was beaten so badly that cerebral fluid was leaking out his nose when police found him.
Oh my God.
Dude, I know. I didn't know that could happen.
I feel like you have cerebral fluid leaking out of your nose. The amount of times you sniffle.
I was trying to sniffle away from the microphone today. I can't help it. I think it's also my nose ring. I don't know. It really helps it run. Cerebral fluid. Mm-hmm. So, of course, with all this, investigators needed to ask him if he had seen anything that could help identify the attacker. But all he could remember was a tall blonde man with red eyes.
Oh, God.
Which was weird.
That's scary.
So, wanting to jog Nils's memory more of what happened, investigators put him under hypnosis to go over some of the details of that night to see if he could remember anything else. In this exchange, they asked him to describe the attacker, and then they were able to get a composite sketch drawn up. So now police believe they're looking for a middle-aged blonde guy with slicked back hair and a strong, sharp jawline. So if you recall, the birdwatching boys also claimed that they had seen a blonde man walking away from the tent. But, you know, it's Finland, so there are a lot of white dudes that fit that exact description. So their suspect pool was still vast, but it helps that multiple people saw the same thing. So, speaking of that suspect pool, their very first one to show up on their doorstep was a man named Pentti Soininen. Soininen.
You're trying so hard. I'm really proud of you.
In the mid-60s, he was incarcerated, and he had claimed responsibility for the murders to one of his cellmates. He had lived near the campsite at the time, like in the woods, which apparently was like a pretty common thing for like criminals to, like fugitives would just like run off and live in those woods. Side note, I can't remember where I saw this fact, but if I find it, I will put it in the show notes. But while they were searching for like evidence, they ended up finding 88 fugitives hiding in the woods around this lake.
Oh my God.
I didn't find anything in the articles that I was reading, but I was like watching a documentary or something about this, and it was in the, and I was just like, what? Okay. Anyways, if I find it, I'll put it in there. So yeah, he was in prison at the time, and he claimed responsibility for the murders. And at the time of the murders, though, he would have been only about 14 years old. So the police thought it was really unlikely that someone that age could take on 4 people at once, 2 of those people being 18-year-old men, and leave no trace of evidence behind. So he was excluded as a suspect almost right away, but in a weird coincidence, he ended up hanging himself on June 6th of 1969, just one day after the 9th anniversary of the murders. So the next suspect that we have is Carl Valdemar Gillstrom, a.k.a. Kiosk Man, nicknamed that because he owned a kiosk near the campsite. Finland. So great.
Wait. Is this unsolved?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know this story?
No, not at all.
Then I should have said, maybe. It is, yeah, it's fucking, I almost just said it's awkward. You know what? It is awkward. It is awkward because it should be solved.
Okay.
So Kiosk Man there, he was, I guess, the kiosk kind of it doesn't say what he sold at the kiosk, but I'm picturing like one of those like concession stands at campgrounds. Which is weird because he fucking hated campers. The reason why they first put him on the suspect list was because he was known for being super hostile to campers. Like, why would you own a kiosk in the area then if you fucking hate campers and hikers?
I don't know. That sounds like you and me towards our customers at work.
Why would you work there if you hate people so much? That is true. That is true. Fair. It's just a way to make a living, I guess. Except that he really fucking hated them. Like, I wouldn't do any of these things to customers. He was known to throw rocks at hikers, put razor blades in their apples.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's just illegal.
He would cut down their tents whenever he saw them pitched. Like, such a fucking dick.
That's just crime.
Yeah, that is vandalism. And attempted murder. You can die from swallowing a razor blade.
Yeah.
Totally. Also, when I heard that part, my stomach turned because I was like picturing biting into a razor blade. So picture biting into a razor blade. It's either going to cut the shit out of your lips or it's going to get stuck between your teeth and cut your gums. Ugh! I don't like teeth stuff. It's weird.
That's why I always cut my apples.
Whoa, weird. I do too. And I soak them in salt water so they never turn brown. Pro tip.
I've given up. They can be brown.
They taste better when they're white, though. Cut that out. Okay, so he's sketchy and kind of gross. His wife had provided an alibi for him, but he was also known to be an abusive alcoholic, and she later would recant her statement saying that he threatened to kill her if she implicated him at all in the murders. So that's suspicious.
It's suspicious that you would have to say that to her.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And that he, after she recanted, then he didn't really have an alibi. And then in 1969, Carl drunkenly confessed to a neighbor that he killed the teens, but the neighbor didn't believe him. Carl then asked the neighbor, okay, well, if I did do it, what do you think I should do? And the neighbor told him, well, if you really did it, you should just go drown yourself because you'll be spending the rest of your life in prison. And a few hours after that conversation, Carl drove to Lake Bodom, walked into the water, and never walked back out.
How do you drown yourself?
You just I think you just swim until your body gets tired. He died. He killed himself. He drowned himself.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another, crazy coinky dink. So both of these dudes are obviously very suspicious, but I still think we may have an even better suspect for the murder. And this guy's name is Hans Assmann, spelled Assmann. Cute. So cute. But he's a bad guy.
Assmann.
He's a bad guy. So I want to make that very clear. So I do want to take a little side trip here because this guy is fascinating and apparently has had a couple books written after his life because he is wild. So basically when he was on his deathbed, he was like, I need to tell my story. So he hired the editor of a true crime magazine called, I think it was called Alibi. And basically they interviewed him for several days and then wrote about his life story. And it's fucking wild. So according to what Hans told the editor, he was a former member of the SS. And he served as a concentration camp guard at Auschwitz. While he was there, he had fallen in love with a Jewish girl. And then when that romance became public knowledge, he was punished and sent to the Eastern Front to fight against the Soviets, where he was captured and turned KGB spy.
Wow.
Wild. So then he claimed to have been involved in the death of a woman in 1953 whose body was found in a local swamp. Her death and disappearance is one of the most notorious cases in Finnish history aside from Lake Bodom. Because I think she was only 17 and everyone thought it was a kidnap murder. Mm-hmm. That's how it was portrayed to be. So he alleges that this wasn't actually a murder at all. He told the editor that he was on a KGB mission at the time, and his chauffeur, he had a chauffeur with him all the time back in those KGB days, had hit the woman with his car and killed her. So both of the men had staged the scene to look like a kidnap murder because they didn't want their reason for being in that area to be revealed because they were on a secret mission.
Oh.
So being implicated in a murder is worse than knowing what the mission at hand was, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
So aside from that confession, there was also a lot of circumstantial evidence that does corroborate that story. The chauffeur's vehicle had been seen by a witness in the area, and her bike was buried or something like that. She was riding a bike and it was clear that the bike had been hit.
Right.
It was kind of wild. And then in 1959, just 1 year before the Lake Bodom murders, Hans was named as a suspect in the campsite murder of 2 women in Heinävesi, Finland. The women were stabbed and bludgeoned to death in their tent before being dragged to a nearby swamp and left there. So we already have some similarities. Dragged to a swamp, stabbed and bludgeoned at a campsite. So, I lost my place. The words are so small on my screen. Hans' wife had later confirmed that he was in the Heinävesi area at the time of the murders, which was weird. And he was never convicted.
Who marries these people?
I really don't know. And like he cheated on her like all the time, and she knew about it. Like every different city that he was staying in for these missions, he'd just be like, yeah, I was fucking my side girl. And she's like, okay, have fun. Maybe she just wanted him away from her. I don't know. But she was cool with it.
I would Lorena Bob at my husband for much less.
It's good to know. You hear that, Rich? Watch out.
Honestly, I have asked him so many times to get a vasectomy. Okay?
That's different than Lorena bobbiting it.
Same effect.
Not really. And don't say that too loud. I'm trying to get Matt to get a vasectomy. He wouldn't do it if he knew just cutting his dick off. Not the same.
No, if you don't get a vasectomy, I'm going to cut your dick off.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you'll never be able to use it.
Yeah.
Shoot blanks or don't shoot at all.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
One day they'll come around when we're dead.
Or we can drug them.
That's not, no.
No?
No, I feel like that's a very Hans Assman thing of you to do.
Drug them and take them to the vasectomy, please?
And stab them and bludgeon them. Their penises. I lost my place again.
So sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so yeah, the wife confirmed that he was in the area at the time, but he was never convicted of these crimes because they never really had any concrete evidence. It was all circumstantial. And then that brings us back to 1960, where Hans is now living in the village of Bodom. So he is right on the lake. June 6th, the morning of the murder, he walks into the Helsinki Surgical Hospital acting erratically. He is being aggressive with staff, and he's acting all nervous and twitchy. And like he was pretending to be unconscious so that they could see him sooner. He was just acting real weird. Oh, and
I mean, I would do that in the emergency room as well.
He's covered in red stains all over.
Okay.
The stains on his clothes were never tested or investigated at all. Even though several doctors at the hospital insisted that the staining was consistent with blood. They're doctors, they see a lot of it.
I mean, you can't mistake it with what, like red paint or Kool-Aid?
Right?
What are the options?
It's wild. It's just wild.
I was cutting up beets.
It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's poop. That's fine. That's fine. When asked about an alibi, he told police that he was cheating on his wife. No big deal. And they were like, cool. That makes sense. Have a great day.
Oh, well, he's going to admit to that. Come on.
Yeah, like he has no shame. So, and they didn't go any further with that after that. I would also just like to point out that when the composite sketch came out of the campsite assassin, Hans went and shaved his head the same day. Now, speaking of the sketch, this is the part where I would like you to pull it up and take a peek at it. So you're going to Google like Lake Bodom composite sketch, BODOM. And it should have a side-by-side of the sketch with a real scary dude that looks fucking identical to the sketch.
The sketch is really scary.
The sketch is scary. And the man is fucking scary looking too.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The sketch is freaking me out. He's got those Sam Paco eyes or whatever.
He's got those scary poking out of your face eyes. And the big lips. And the slick back blonde hair.
Mm-hmm. And the same nose.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is a distinct nose. That is like a very like pronounced. Not pronounced. What's the word? I don't know. It's just very distinct.
Like and the forehead.
I'm sorry, but that is a sketch of Hans Assman. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that sketch was made from hypnotism, which is wild. So, but whatever. It's all totally circumstantial. So, now we get to the fun part, Tamara.
These pictures are scary.
They are scary.
He looks like
he looks like a demon.
A demon from your dreams.
He does.
Haunts you at night.
A paralysis demon.
It's those eyes.
Yeah.
What is it called? The Sam.
A what? A sleep paralysis demon?
No.
Hatman?
No, the type of eyes where you like.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's called Sanpaku.
I don't know what that is.
So It's like used a lot. First of all, it's a Japanese thing, but it's used in like when you are making a movie or like a cartoon to make people look evil,
even scarier than
and
they
what it
already
is when your pupil does not touch either the bottom or the top.
Oh, it makes you look like wide-eyed.
Yeah, and a little crazy.
Oh,
But it's like,
yeah, he's got that for sure.
yeah.
But the scary thing is that his face looks relaxed in that picture. So, like, he's just got those crazy eyes all the time.
Yeah, the term sanpaku eyes gets its name from the Japanese language. It means 3 whites and refers to more of the white part of the eye showing either above or below the iris.
Wow, I learned something new today. Okay. Also, while you're looking at your phone,
Okay.
if you look up, I think it's like if you just look up like, you know, Lake Bodom pictures or whatever, there's one picture taken of a crowd. You see it?
I did, but I went off of it.
So click on that. That is the funeral of the teenagers.
Of the guy circled. Mm-hmm. Okay, he looks like a skeleton.
He looks like the fucking sketch.
Yeah. It's a creepy picture. I don't like it.
I know. He looks real scary. But yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So there's that fun little picture journey. So several years go by, and in 2004, so 44 years later, we've got advanced DNA technology now, and police are taking a look at cold cases, so they reopen the Lake Bodom case. And everyone is fucking shocked when police announce an arrest in the case. Would you like to guess who it is?
The middle guy.
It is not Kiosk Man. They tell everyone that Nils Gustafsson, the lone survivor, murdered all his friends, beat himself up, and got away with it for 44 years. Their reasoning? They had found blood evidence on the shoes, the ones that were missing from the campsite that they found a half a mile away. Police claimed that the blood spatter on the shoes indicated the killer must have been the one wearing them, and that everyone else's blood was on them, but not Nils's blood. So I couldn't really find any other evidence pointing to Nils besides this. So, I don't know. To me, it seems like, you know, maybe the killer could have found the shoes, put them on, killed the people, and then just, like, left them somewhere to, like, not leave footprints behind. I don't know, but, like...
Or they were just there and the killer took them just to, like, have them, but then realized that he got blood on it?
Maybe. I don't know. But it just doesn't seem like enough evidence to convict someone on.
So, in their theory, he killed them, walked half a mile, took those clothes off and left them, and then came back and hurt himself.
Came back, hurt himself, laid around till someone found him. Yeah. So, in his trial, prosecution spun this story. You basically just said it. He got too drunk. This is what they think happened. They were all drinking. He got too drunk. He made advances towards his girlfriend, which she rejected. And then everyone kicked him out of the tent. They were like, go fucking cool off, you know. And then Seppo, his guy friend, went out to try to talk him down, which started a fight between the two men. And then they say that that's how Nils got the broken jaw and, like, the concussion and all that shit. And then in a blind rage after that fight, he went on to kill all of his friends and just stabbed them and bludgeoned them. And then they think he just, like, scooped up his bloody shoes and hid them from the campsite. And then came back to the campsite and inflicted a whole bunch of superficial wounds on himself to stage the scene. I don't know. It sounds a little far-fetched, but... Nils's defense attorneys were ready to play because they were easily able to dismiss this story. Simply put, they said he had brain juice leaking out of his nose. He was too injured to be able to pull off murdering 3 of his friends, hide the murder weapons, clean up the evidence, walk a mile round trip to hide his shoes, then have the presence of mind to fake stab wounds on himself, and then lay around waiting for someone to find them in the woods, you know?
Not to mention that people saw, like, the guy walking away.
Yeah. I mean, Nils was blonde, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. In my opinion, he was thankfully acquitted. Thankfully. Some people still are convinced. It is literally split 50-50. Some people think he was the one that did it and he's just been walking free this whole time. I don't know. I'm very much so like there needs to be more evidence than this. He was acquitted of the crimes in October of 2005, and he was awarded around 45,000 euros in damages for psychological, not physiological. What's the difference? Anyways.
Physical.
For psychological trauma caused by the trial. Yeah, I just feel like they definitely need more evidence than that.
Yeah, I feel like if
even the Scott Peterson trial had more evidence than that, and I'm still not convinced that Scott Peterson murdered his wife.
If he and his friend got in a fight so bad that it caused those, like, there's no way he could have done that.
No, I don't think so. But they think, oh, like a fucking adrenaline rush. You're in the shock of it all. You're not feeling anything. You're just, I don't know. That seems way too much. The cheek wound? Hello? Ow.
Yeah, that's not superficial.
No. Wild. So,
and like, did they have knives on them normally?
I mean, they might have, being like just like at a campsite, like maybe if they caught some fish, they could like gut them and stuff. But again, nothing was ever found. No weapons were found. How would somebody with his injuries think to hide the weapons? What are you gonna do? Throw them in the lake? How far are you gonna throw when you've been beat to shit? Hide them in the woods. They walked that same trail that he walked to allegedly hide his shoes. They didn't find anything.
And I feel like those witnesses would have been like, oh yeah, we saw a blonde man. And they're like, these are the victims. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's the man we saw.
Yeah.
They would identify him.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, the boys, the birdwatching boys, the ones that said that they saw a blonde man walking away, they did say, like, they were kind of far away, but they did see the blonde man. They couldn't make out any facial characteristics. They said it was a blonde man wearing, like, a black jacket or something like that, which is exactly what Nils described seeing. Blonde man, black clothes, red eyes. I wonder why his eyes were red, though. Spooky. Yeah. So, as of 2023, the tent and some other pieces of evidence are still being kept in conservation at the police museum in Tampere, Finland, which is cool. They're trying to preserve what remains. They basically said that everything is so old and degraded that they are treating it like an archaeological find, which is very cool that they respect preservation. Sorry, did you just hear my throat gurgle? Great, I'll cut that out. So hopefully that means more testing can be done on that stuff in the future and they can actually find out what the fuck happened here. To this day, no one else has been charged with the murders of Anya, Seppo, and Mila. Many people involved with the case have since passed away, but the locals keep this case alive by they still warn their kids to be on their best behavior, lest they fall victim to the Lake Bodom murderer.
God.
Sorry, I know I went a little Moira Rose there. Still coming out of my Schitt's Creek deep dive.
Ugh. God, this man looks creepy.
He really does.
They look so young.
Yeah, look at fucking Nils. He is a baby. He was only 18.
He looks older than the others.
I don't even remember what Seppo looks like. I've just seen so many pictures of poor little Nils with that big eye.
Seppo looks like a baby.
It's sad. And it should be solved, but so many balls were dropped. And it's just one of those that we'll always wonder about.
Oh, he does look a lot younger in like his hospital. Mm-hmm. They look so young. Oh my God.
But like, you see why it takes me so fucking long to write a story? Because I can't just write a story about the murders. I'm like deep diving into Hans. Like, what is your fucking story, you creep? I want to buy the book about this guy. He's fucking insane. Also, he was tied to more murders, but was never convicted of any of them. Those were just the ones that I thought were pertinent to this case. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the pictures of the tent?
Yeah.
Yeah, shredded. Also, I originally picked this case because I had heard that it was the inspiration for the movie Friday the 13th. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. And then I learned that it was not.
Indeed was not dope.
But, fun fact, there is a metal band that is from the Lake Bodom area of Finland that is now called Children of Bodom. Pretty dope. I used to listen to them when MTV3 had Headbangers Ball on. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh. I guess I was the only one watching MTV3.
I want to see pictures of him.
Whom?
Nils when he was attacked. What his face look like?
There's only a couple.
Yeah.
And it was like in the 60s. I can't imagine they took that many pictures. I want to see that cheek wound, though. I only found that in one source about the cheek wound. And I hope it's real.
I think these are bodies.
It is really hard
Also, like,
to make out the bodies.
Nil, I feel like if there was other people around and he was like trying to get people's attention, or like he would have tried to get people's attention if he was injured. Like,
No, he was like basically, he was like on the brink of unconsciousness.
Yeah.
Like they thought he was a dead body. They thought they had stumbled across 4 bodies.
yeah.
And then they like flipped him over and he was like,
But how scary is that? It's like, ugh, the worst.
that is so scary. And then to have to
Thinking-
like go to trial later for like, you know, your girlfriend got murdered. And like the other reason that they thought it was him, which again is circumstantial, was because Mila had the worst injuries and her pants were off, or her skirt, whatever the fuck she was wearing back then. But I mean, I couldn't find that there were any signs of like sexual assault or anything like that. But the fact that like she was outside the tent with him, she had the worst injuries, and she had post-mortem injuries, which they thought was like indicative of a crime of passion. Who else would commit a crime of passion against this girl but her boyfriend? So, but like again, like it's fucking circumstantial. You cannot send someone to prison based on circumstantial evidence. You just can't.
All right, now I need to know what happened to John Bonet.
Oh God. Did you watch the new documentary that they put out? I got so mad. My sister-in-law was just like, oh, like we're gonna watch this, blah blah blah. And I was just like, I cannot fucking watch another John Bonet documentary. It's all the same information. They're just fucking pointing fingers, and you don't get anywhere. I broke down and watched it, and I texted her and I was like, bro, you have to watch this. My mind is fucking blown. Because I don't remember which streaming service has the new documentary, because there's 87,000 of them. I want to say it's Netflix. This documentary kind of like opens up our eyes to they really like put the mirror on journalism and like how the story was being spun by the journalists to make the family look fucking awful, to make the family look super fucking guilty. And like, now I'm just like, fuck, like this whole time I thought Burke did it. The whole time I thought the fucking dad did it. The whole time I thought the fucking mom had something to do with it. And now I'm just like, God damn it. I'm back to square one. Now I don't think the family's involved. I don't know. It's fucking frustrating. But they basically were just like, it was fucking trial by media. Again, same thing with the Scott Peterson case. The journalists can just make you believe anything they want. It's so fucking scary.
So who do you think killed her?
I don't remember how it ended, but they did put forth a viable suspect. Like there was that one guy that they think was like, you know, the Santa Claus that visited the house. I don't remember how the fucking show ended. I've seen so many of them, they all blur together. But I'm pretty sure it's not the family.
Okay.
Fun fact, though, we'll never fucking know. It'll never be solved.
If it's someone in the family, maybe the brother on his deathbed will finally come forward and be like,
Do you think it's the brother?
No, I don't.
Who do you think it is?
I haven't watched many of the documentaries.
Oh,
but
save your soul.
That friend that flew them back to
Colorado or whatever. I don't even remember them being mentioned. You think it was them?
There was something weird. I don't know.
Don't make me rewatch these just to find out who this friend was. You should watch that documentary. Oh, you don't have Netflix anymore, do you? Mm-mm. God damn it, Tamara.
I wouldn't do it even if I had Netflix.
It is like frustrating, but there was it sucked me in. I was watching it and I was like, I'm gonna fucking turn this off in 5 seconds. The second they start going down the Burke hole, that's what I call it now. It's the Burke hole. Then I'm out. But within 15 minutes, I was like, oh, this is new. Holler.
Yeah. No. If it was, I don't think it's Burke, but if it was one of the parents, something happened, I feel like Burke would know.
Yeah.
And maybe on his deathbed.
Maybe. Like, I mean, the dad's still alive, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think the dad might say something? Or do you think it's going to come down to Burke?
Because he doesn't want to implicate anyone. Like, that's, if it was, like, the mom's dead now, she couldn't have said anything on her deathbed if it would have implicated someone.
I don't know. We'll never know. So, speaking of cold cases, I know we're at an hour, but I gotta know, because I'll forget to ask later. If there is one unsolved murder case that you want solved, you want an answer to before you die, what is it?
I haven't thought much about it, but I guess there's John Bonet. I don't know. What about you?
The Black Dahlia.
Okay.
That's another one. Like, I want to do that case, but at the same time, it is all fucking twisty-turvy. Yeah. It could go 17 million ways. There's so many fucking suspects.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. You know what else would be cool to know? The Lindell baby? What's the name? Lindelman? No. Lindor? Like the truffle heir? Just kidding.
Dang it. I can't think of it either.
Was that solved?
No. Wasn't it
Lindenberg?
Yeah, something about an
Lindenberg
airplane
baby?
No, that's the Hindenburg.
Damn it.
I think you're
Lindbergh,
yes, the Lindbergh big baby. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Even though we couldn't remember its fucking name.
Or like any of those cases where like people are like driving and something happens to their car, like the one with the kid that I did, and I can't think of his name, but he's a redhead.
Yes, Bryceless Pizza.
Yeah.
That one still fucking sticks with me. I remember his fucking name. I don't remember many names.
Yeah. There's like 3 of them.
Where there's like crazy like things going on right before their disappearance, and then they're just fucking gone. Was he missing or was he found dead? He was missing.
He's missing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that one to be solved too.
Yeah.
And nope, I lost it.
Like there's another one where the guy was like driving around and he had like talked to his parents and he was like lost or something, and but then his car went into a ditch.
That's Priceless Pizza.
This is a different one. This is like
the exact same thing as what happened to Priceless Pizza.
No, this is out in the country. And then like he like wasn't where he was supposed to be, and his parents found his car.
That is Priceless Pizza.
He walked through like a field or something, and like they think maybe he fell into like an old
like a well.
Yeah, or like a mine shaft, or like this crazy stuff. And then the guy that was at the bar, and they have video of him going in but never leaving the bar. I think it was...
That's insane.
Not the Twisted Tuna, but it's something like that.
Sorry.
The Wacky Tobacco? No. Something like that, the bar.
The Looney Lobster?
Yeah, any of those cases, like I'm just like, oh, so much was happening. It's so weird. How is that possible?
Do you still like watch a lot of true crime?
I don't have time for it. I get my true crime from TikTok.
I have just been like reading a lot lately, and like I find it so much more enjoyable than watching true crime now. So I'm just like, I'm so like out of it. Like before, I was literally just consuming every little drop I could find, like on all the streaming platforms. And now I'm just like, I don't know. Like, it's so hard to pick a story now because I'm just like, I can't fucking make it through a single episode of anything. I'm so fucking bored, which I guess is good because now there's a study coming out saying if you relax watching true crime, it's a big red flag that you're a psycho.
Oh, shut up. Everyone takes naps watching the ID channel.
Oh my God.
Come on.
You know, my favorite is Forensic Files. That soothing voice. Oh, and Disappeared. That voice in Disappeared is real good.
Yeah.
For sleeping, I mean.
I love falling asleep watching Stephen King's movies.
Have you ever watched Gerald's Game?
No.
Oh, it's also on Netflix. Fucker. It's real good, though. What other Stephen King movies do you watch? You fall asleep to that?
It was a joke.
Oh. Damn, I thought you were being for real. I was like, God, you are demented.
No. No, TikTok's pretty good for like new true crime.
Yeah, to keep everyone like in the know.
Like there was this one where this girl had gone missing. She like lived in Hawaii and she had like up with a guy and they were like going home, and then so she was like on her connecting flight. She was like at that airport and like something happened between them and he got on his plane, the plane home, but
I know what happened. She got trafficked.
Didn't. Well then, so she's like missing, and I think she's missing from LAX or something. I could be wrong. And then her dad like flies there and then kills himself in that airport parking lot.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they still don't know where she is.
Whoa.
And then they get video of her.
Did he kill himself or did he, wink, wink, kill himself?
No, he killed himself.
Was it him, though? Could they prove that it was him that killed himself?
I think so. But
Or was
then
it a
they
murder?
get video of her crossing the Mexico border, just walking across it.
Yeah, but that's not really like, it's not super like legit, because you remember that family of 4 that went missing and they saw footage of them crossing the Mexican border, but then the whole time they were fucking like buried out in the desert.
So it was definitely her. Her family knows it's her. And then, because they've got family in Mexico, they find out she went there and was with her aunt. Now she's just living in Mexico.
And her dad killed himself?
Yeah.
Something sounds really off. That sounds off.
I know.
I don't like it.
All right, we have to end this episode.
All right, friends. I don't want to end it. You end it. I started it.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Fearfulfriendspodcast, and rate, review, subscribe, tell someone about our show.
Send your stories to fearfulfriendspodcast@gmail.com.
Bye, friends.
Bye.